Welcome back to Investing Talk podcast. Today, we're going to be looking at Aldeyra Therapeutics.
Okay.
It's a clinical stage biotech company. You sent us some information about the company, an overview, some recent performance, financial health, some analyst perspectives. And our mission is to kind of unpack all this
Okay.
and see what it means for understanding Aldeyra. So what really jumps out to you from all this information?
I think what's really interesting is just how quickly things can change for a company like Aldeyra.
Yeah.
You say over some details, and it really just highlights how volatile the biotech sector can be.
Absolutely. And to give everyone a baseline here, can we just start with like a really quick overview of what Aldeyra even does?
Sure.
So they are focused on these new treatments for diseases. They're driven by problems with the immune system or metabolic dysfunction. Their lead product candidate is reproxalap. It's for dry eye disease. And they're using this kind of novel approach. They call it RASP modulation,
Right.
and it's supposed to address various conditions. So this RASP thing, this sounds like a different way of tackling these problems.
It is, yeah. Imagine that in a lot of these diseases, so we're talking about inflammation, metabolic stress,
Right.
our cells, they produce these sort of harmful byproducts, right?
Okay.
These reactive aldehyde species. They build up over time,
Oh.
and they can actually start causing damage. Now, the more traditional approaches, they might target specific inflammatory molecules,
Mm-hmm.
or they try to manage these downstream effects.
Mm-hmm.
But what Aldeyra is doing is really interesting. It's called RASP modulation.
Yeah.
And they're trying to kind of intervene earlier in the process. It's almost like neutralizing those byproducts before they can cause like really significant issues. Yeah, and this could actually have broader implications,
Yeah.
across a bunch of different diseases where these species play a role.
That's really fascinating. One thing that stood out from the information was this FDA complete response letter
Right.
that they got for reproxalap, and the stock price just tanked, almost 75%, which is huge. The FDA cited insufficient efficacy in treating those ocular symptoms associated with dry eyes. So can you break that down a little bit? When the FDA issues a complete response letter, what are they really saying about a drug's prospects?
Oh, it's essentially the FDA saying, we've looked at your application, and at this time, we're not going to approve it. And in this case, the key phrase is insufficient efficacy. It means that the data they got from the clinical trials, it didn't really convince the FDA that reproxalap was actually making a meaningful difference in the dryness or discomfort for patients. It's not just about the safety either. It's about whether the drug actually works well enough. And to move forward, they're going to have to address those concerns. Usually that means doing more studies and getting better evidence.
Yeah. A 75% drop in stock price really puts that into perspective. I mean, investors were clearly expecting this approval.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about their financial health.
Okay.
You sent over some numbers, and there's some pretty significant changes. Their cash reserves went from about $143 million at the end of 2023 down to just $28 million by the end of September 2024.
Right.
I mean, that's a really fast decrease. So what does that kind of cash burn rate mean for a company like this?
We have to remember, for a biotech company that's not making any money yet, because they don't have a product on the market,
Yeah.
their cash is like their fuel. It keeps their research going,
Right.
their trials, their operations.
Yeah.
So the decline like that, it does signal that they're spending a lot,
Yeah.
which, to be fair, is normal for drug development. But when something like an FDA rejection happens, that path to making money, it becomes less certain,
Yeah.
potentially longer. And then that dwindling cash becomes a big problem. It really puts pressure on them to find more money,
Oh.
maybe through borrowing,
Yeah.
selling more shares, or even finding a partner with the bigger pharmaceutical company.
And it's not just the cash, right?
Yeah.
They also reported a net loss of $40 million for the first 9 months of 2024. And they have $15 million in long-term debt. So when we put all of these figures together, what's the overall picture?
Well, it suggests that they're facing some pretty strong financial headwinds right now. The net loss itself, that's typical. They're a biotech in this stage,
Right.
investing heavily in research and trials. But you add that to the shrinking cash and the debt, and it creates a situation where, they don't have a lot of room for error. They need some wins in their pipeline, and they need them soon to take off some of that financial pressure.
So the information you sent over also highlighted some potential red flags for Aldeyra. The FDA rejection and that stock crash are the big ones, obviously.
Right.
And that cash burn rate is a concern. But on the flip side, their RAST technology, that's highlighted as a potential strength and a reason for optimism. It seems like a bit of a mixed bag.
It really is.
High risk, high reward.
The innovative stuff they're doing with RASQ modulation, that's probably what got investors excited in the first place. And if it works, if they can turn this tech into actual treatments, that could be a game changer. But the FDA decision, it reminds us that drug development, it's a long and difficult road. Promising science doesn't always mean you're going to have positive results in trials or get approval.
So how does all of this affect the current market sentiment around Aldeyra? It's pretty negative right now, understandably so.
Yeah.
But the information did mention that some investors might see the lower stock price as a potential entry point, banking on a turnaround. But that seems like a pretty risky bet right now.
It is. I mean, a low stock price, it might look tempting.
Yeah.
But you have to understand why it's low. And here, it's because of this big setback. For the stock to really recover, you'd probably need to see some really positive things happen.
Right.
Like amazing results from another trial that address the FDA's concerns.
Right.
Or maybe a big partnership. But without those, buying at a low point, just hoping for a turnaround, that's risky. And there's also that ongoing securities investigation.
Yeah.
It adds another layer of uncertainty for investors.
Absolutely. We also can't forget about the other companies out there. Aldeyra is trying to make its mark in dry eye disease.
Right.
But there are already big names like Novartis and Alcon. They have approved treatments, tons of resources, and they're already established in the market. Aldeyra's technology might be different, but as we've talked about, showing that it works better and getting regulatory approval, those are big hurdles.
They really are.
And even if they do get approval, they'll be up against some tough competition.
You're right. The established players, they have years of experience.
Yeah.
Distribution networks, they often have a whole bunch of products. And that gives them leverage for Aldeyra to really compete. Even if reproxalap gets approved, they need to show a real benefit for patients over the current option.
Right.
And then they have to figure out the whole insurance coverage and getting doctors to use it.
It's complicated.
It is.
So looking forward, there are some milestones coming up, right? The top line results from an ongoing clinical trial in the second quarter of 2025, and the company wants to resubmit their application to the FDA for reproxalap later that year if those trial results are good. So it seems like the near-term future of this company really depends on the outcome of this trial.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. The results of that trial, they're going to be absolutely critical. If the data is good and it answers the FDA's questions about efficacy, then they'll have a chance to resubmit. And investors might start feeling better about them. But if the trial doesn't work out, it'll put a lot more stress on their finances, and it'll raise some serious doubts about the future of this whole thing.
So the overall recommendation from all this information seems to be like a hold for people who already own the stock, or maybe a sell for new investors.
Yeah, I would say so.
Seems like there's a lot of uncertainty and some significant risks here.
There is a chance they could come back, mostly because of their technology.
Right.
But the roadblocks in front of them are pretty substantial.
Okay, so let's recap. You provided information showing that Aldeyra Therapeutics hit a big snag with that FDA rejection of reproxalap,
Right.
which caused a steep drop in their stock price. We looked at their finances, they're losing money, their cash reserves are going down. RASP technology, that's a potential bright spot. But it all comes down to the results of those trials and whether they can satisfy the FDA.
And you shared information about their competition, too.
Yeah.
There are some big players in the dry eye market, like Novartis and Alcon, and it highlights just how hard it is for Aldeyra to prove that their drug is effective and to get approval.
Right.
We'll have to see what happens with that resubmitted NDA. If the trial results are positive, we're looking at mid-2025.
So it seems like caution is definitely warranted here.
It does.
There's a lot of risk, but there's also a chance for a turnaround. But it's something we'll have to watch closely.
Exactly. This whole situation with Aldeyra brings up an important question for investors. You know you're keen on understanding these opportunities. How do you weigh the potential of new technology against these regulatory hurdles and the financial pressure in biotech? It's a balancing act.
Right.
A lot of investors have to deal with.
Another thing to think about is how much weight to give to just one drug, especially one that's had problems with regulators. This really highlights how important it is to diversify, if you can, when you're investing in biotech. So we hope this has been helpful for you. If you found it insightful, please subscribe, like, and leave us a comment with any questions or topics you want us to cover in the future. Thanks for listening.